नमस्कार। नृत्य पर चर्चा ये है इस सत्र का विषय। काल के प्रवाह के साथ साथ सभी कलाओं में भी बदलाव सुनिश्चित है। जहां तक शास्त्रीय नृत्य शैलियों का प्रश्न है, तो उसमें पारंपरिकता के साथ नवीनता को स्थान है। गुरु की अपनी विचारधारा के साथ शिष्य को प्रयोगशीलता की अनुमति है। इन्हीं अलग अलग बातों पर, नृत्य की विशेषता पर आज हम चर्चा कर रहे हैं और हमारे साथ आज उपस्थित हैं नृत्य विशेषज्ञ जोनाथन हॉलेंडर और माया कुलकर्णी। इनसे बातचीत कर रही हैं नृत्य विशारद शीला मेहता। तो आइए इनके साथ हम भी नृत्य की अलग अलग बातों को जानने का एक प्रयास करें।
Namaskar, a very warm welcome to the conversation at Vishwarang 2020, Tagore International Literature and Arts Festival, being organized by Rabindranath Tagore University, Bhopal. My name is Shila Mehta. I am founder and artistic director of Nupur Zankar Foundation, New Jersey. We at Nupur Zankar, we firmly support the activities that are relevant to enhance the perception of the performing arts and creating the need for performing arts at different levels, that is, individual, community, and professional levels. Today's topic is not about any particular component of the performing arts, but it is more about to look at this soft power field which deals with the science of body, mind, and experience of being. It is also to reflect the graph of its outcome in comparison to other similar fields. So today's topic is performing arts matters. I have been in Kathak dance field as a performer, choreographer, teacher, and organizer since last 35 years. I have been interacting with many personalities from the different fields to understand what does performing arts and what does the performing artist mean to them. Many replies and very common few replies which I got was they were nobody can imagine society without arts. How can we imagine a life, human life without arts? Art is a vehicle to the self-discovery. Art transcends, art transforms, art mirrors the societal issues. Performing arts, especially Indian classical dances, they are deeply rooted in the principles of yoga. So it has benefits of yoga and so on. In short, art plays a very important role at different levels. In my journey, I see many artists have common question still unanswered. We all believe or we all see that art is the backbone of the society. Have we actually realized the results, the desired results, in the context of economic outcome, in the context of social recognition and needed contribution? How much we all, that is, the artists, are responsible to do the work to create the need for performing arts in the society? Have we actually transformed Have we transcend I? Are we just projecting ourselves? Where do we take arts from? So today we have two eminent personalities with us who will share their views on this overarching theme. We have Jonathan Hollander, the founder president of Battery Dance Company. Jonathan has created Battery Dance Festival, which is known for running and the most international dance festival. He has traveled across Indian subcontinents with his Battery Dance Company members. He has received numerous awards and is also very much influenced, his choreographies are very much influenced by his love for Indian classical dance and music. We have another eminent personality who is Maya Kulkarni, who is a Bharatanatyam exponent. Maya ji, she is very well versed in the text of the Indian classical dance, and she is also well known for her unique approach to Indian classical dance, where she emphasizes on the sculptures, paintings, and the temple arts, and she names that as Shilpanatnam. She is also professor at Wilson Patterson University, New Jersey. She is a political science professor. She has written numerous books on political science and on Indian policy matter, foreign policy matters of India. So we invite now Jonathan Hollander and Maya Kulkarni ji.
Thank you for having us.
Good to see you, Sheila.
Thank you. Namaskar, Jonathan, Maya ji. Namaste.
Nice.
I'm extremely delighted to have you both here. No words to express my feelings. We start with the questions, and I will ask the questions to both of you. And to keep the time, to maintain the time, we will just come to the points. So, Jonathan, my first question is to you. We see you are so passionate about Indian dance and music. Especially, I have seen you, I think, since many, many years. I remember our Bombay interaction also. I think every year you are there in India. So I somehow, always one question comes is, what is that one thing that draws you most to the performing arts and especially the Indian classical dance? If you can.
I was very lucky to be in Mumbai as a teenager and to witness the magnificent Javeri sisters, Manipuri dancers, all four of them, and Parvati Kumar and his students, including Sucheta Bide Chapikar. So you can imagine it's like landing in an island of riches, the riches of Indian classical dance. And as a teenager, leaving my home in suburban Washington, D.C. and landing up right in the middle of Bombay, and then having the texture, the smells, the sounds, the perfume of that city and its inhabitants, it was an intoxicating experience that has never left me. So my life has followed a journey as I became a dancer, a choreographer, an artistic director, and the experiences in India have really infused everything that I've done, even if I wasn't aware of it. I remember a Polish choreographer looked at a duet that I created that had nothing to do with India as far as I knew. And he said the hand gestures were very reminiscent of Indian dance. And I was very surprised that somehow subconsciously the use of the hands, which is so characteristic in Indian dance and is not really part of the Western canon particularly. You know, we have certain hand positions and we don't really gesticulate that much in our dancing, whereas there's whole language of hand gestures in Indian dance. So, you know, there are ways in which I wasn't even aware, but I think as artists, we're like a snowball. We pick up more and more snow as we roll along. And that's how India has been for me. I just feel so privileged to have this exposure at an early age, also to the music, because I had trained as a Western classical musician. So my ear had a chance at an early age to hear the melodies and hear the tonalities of Indian music and become accustomed to them and gradually take them in. So that this has all formed who I am. It's part of the fabric of Jonathan.
So what is one thing that draws to you? I understand is the hand gestures you talked about. Is that the thing you think that has made you?
No, actually, I'd say for Indian dancers and Indian musicians, the very best, such as Maya and yourself, that you cannot separate the dancer from spirituality. The pursuit of the dance, the pursuit of music is one of a lifelong spirituality. And that's not something that we think of, particularly in Western dance. I mean, it might be there without our knowing it, but I'll never forget Rajan and Sajan Mishra preparing to perform at Lincoln Center. And I was in their hotel room beforehand, just chatting with them. And they had their whole puja set up on the, you know, the credenza that was in the hotel room. And they said before they go on to any performance, they think of their father, their guru, and the God. And that somehow in their humility, these brilliant musicians, these otherworldly musicians, had a very simple, I would guess, ritual for themselves, that without which their music had no meaning for them. So I think being exposed to that, I think that's the one thing, is the authenticity, the spirituality, the giving up of oneself. I'm speaking of the very highest level of dancers in India, the giving up of oneself and one's identity and pledging allegiance to the art form and to the spirit.
Beautifully said. Yes, I will like to continue with Mayaji with the same question. What is that one thing that draws you most?
So many things was not the three things that I think were very important. One is, of course, music. You know, Shastri, the classical music was, my brother was learning it, I was learning it. So that was one avenue. Second was, my father was a Sanskrit scholar, so I learned all the poetry, you know, especially the Kalidasa's poetry. So that's the second in, triggered my imagination, and I could find poetry in dance. And third was, of course, Parvati Kumar, who was a friend of the family, and he came and said, I want to, you know, send your daughter to my dance class. And I began there, and I did my Arangetram graduation with Parvati Kumar. And then went on to other gurus as well. But those were the three foundational elements, you know, that kind of constructed my dance, my interest in dance, and my desire to become a dancer.
Wonderful. So I see, and Jonathan, you talked about the spirituality in Indian dance, and you said whether it's not there in the Western or you are not aware of it. When we talk about the spirituality, and I think we all agree to that. The spirituality has nothing to do with the rituals or the religion. It is something a
The
human
music, the dance and the music are the ritual.
That's right.
Yes, yes, they are the rituals. And Gandhiji rightly said once, and not once, like Gandhiji has rightly said, that a human being is not like total unless until there is no spiritual growth. And I heard as a child. So I have seen that though arts, I mean, when we talk about the performing arts or the arts in general, like they are so important in the society, but still we say they are the backbone. But don't you think so that it is like it is sometimes it is compartmentalized, it has become a luxury and it is done separately? How about when it is a spiritual growth, it has to be imbibed in day-to-day life? So how about, what are your thoughts on, creating the need to do this performing arts in day-to-day life? Because unless and until we don't create the need in the society, it becomes still, it is staying as like hobby more or less.
I
And
think it has, Battery Dance, which is my dance company, has two twin mantras. One is to pursue artistic excellence, to constantly reach for the higher. And the other is social relevance. And in social relevance, what we mean by that is we want to provide access to the arts for everyone. And I think that's maybe the key to your question. The fact that so many young people, perhaps in different economic brackets where their families don't have the resources to provide extra training for them, extra exposure, going to performances, studying after school with a music teacher or a dance teacher, it should be part of every child's life, I believe. It's as fundamental as math and science and literature. And this is, I think, the issue, that we miss the opportunity to introduce the arts at an age where young people can feel that it can become part of their lives. And when you talk about compartmentalization, if it's not part of your family, if it's not part of your school, if it's not part of your community, where do you have the access? So this is, I think, a fundamental problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. So my question is, how, if you can search, because you are an excellent organizer and you have tested, like you have really proved successful. So if you can suggest some measures or the methods by which we can, uh, if something we can take it forward and create, the need, because we all know this problem and we all are working. And you see today, even the standards have gone so high. People are dancing well, they are doing different kinds of work, wonderful dances, standard has gone up. But what about, but still somewhere you find that need, it is more about projection of yourself, that I'm dancing, or somewhere we are just going for satisfying our own need ourselves. But how about making it as a need and understand that it is important in day-to-day life? Because
I think here we are on the platform of the Rabindranath Tagore University. There couldn't be a more perfect sort of mentor or role model than Rabindranath Tagore. He understood that the arts need to be part of education, and he created Shantiniketan. He dropped out of normal school because he was bored and he couldn't stand the sort of lockstep kind of education that was present at that time in Kolkata. So, I think we need to follow his lead and take strength from his passion and his incredible achievement as a Renaissance man. What we have done for Battery Dance is to say it's not enough for us just to pursue our own creative aspirations. We have to figure out how to address societal needs. And so we began right from the very beginning of the dance company 45 years ago. We began to perform out of doors in free public performances. And our idea was that this would be one way of building new audiences and exposing people, and gradually created the Battery Dance Festival, which, as you mentioned, is New York's longest running public dance festival. And every summer we get 2,000 people every night to see all of these different dance forms. And of course, this year, because of the pandemic, we went virtual and we had almost 30,000 views from 200 countries around the world. So I think the appetite is there when people have access. And maybe in this time that we're all suffering through, so much suffering and loss and death and illness and fear, on the other hand, the positive is that people have gone much more into the virtual world, which gives us an audience we would have never had before.
Mayaji, we do talk a lot about art transcends and transforms. No I, it dissolves I. Do you see the performing arts, like I'm talking about the Indian dance, are we on, there is more I and less dissolving of the I, where art is, maybe it is not, it's more about the skill. And what about the transformation?
It goes to the question you originally you just raised and Jonathan answered to you about it. There are so many forces against what you're trying to articulate here. The whole commercial, the Bollywood, for example, in India, is not going to really give you any kind of spiritual succor, nor are people by and large looking for it. They want to be entertained, and they don't see Indian classical dance as a means, as a way to entertain, because it requires attention. It requires a degree of some knowledge, some interest has to be triggered. And so, yes, school curriculums, exposure to this, that is one way to go. But I think that the Indian classical dancers in India, at least, are fighting an uphill battle. And the audiences are shrinking, organizers are having a hard time. They depend on, advertisements, not by ticket collections. So there are so many things that are against it. Should arts be a part of the integral part of the society? Undoubtedly so. Something that takes you to a higher plane. But the point is that that's not, if majority of the people are not seeking that, the dancer, musician, whoever are confined then to smaller audiences who are genuinely interested. And for me, that's okay. I think that's quite all right,
That's the thing.
I don't want thousands of people sitting there waiting for me to do something that is kind of drama and acting out. And I mean, we are just different genre of dancers. That's it.
And actually, the forms themselves, at their best, are appreciated close up. And so you really can't have a solo by Maya or Shila at Carnegie Hall with an audience yards and yards away from the stage, because you'll miss the facial expressions, you'll miss the nuance. There's so much precision and so much nuance in every shade of angle and choreography. So, that is a problem. I think that, because so much of Indian dance is a solo art form, and how many soloists can really command the attention of a very large audience, and how much of the audience can actually see the beauty and the jewel-like precision of some of these performances. I mean, my favorite performances of Indian dance, I've been very close.
True. It is
if we take that as either, maybe, I won't say shortcoming, but just to understand the subject, if we say, then my question is again that, I feel that when any artist, they're so passionate about whoever is dancing, we never look at any other outcome. How about, I think, what professions do you think it can be enhanced further by drawing on this artist mind? do you see
I
any?
think everything is enhanced. I mean, we've had students who
Yeah,
have
so can you
participated
please
in
give
our
some examples?
workshops,
Mhm.
but who became lawyers or who became hoteliers or whatever. And they remember that dance experience, and they remember the sense of themselves that they achieved through the dance experience, that it gave them something that carried through the rest of their lives. I've heard this time and time again. So I don't think we can underestimate how important dance training can be, even if somebody doesn't become a professional dancer. But it gives them a sense of discipline. It gives them a sense of their own bodies and their own facility and what they can actually communicate without words. And in today's world, where people are meeting each other on so many levels, but don't speak the same language, either culturally or linguistically, dance cuts through all of that.
So we can, yes, Mayaji, I would like to hear from you about, drawing on other, like employing artist mind in the other professions.
I agree with what Jonathan said. I am, straddling two professions,
Yes.
and that I have had trouble. I mean, keeping up with both. But I have come to a point where I see that it's seamless in a sense, because ideas are also beautiful. They're aesthetically, you enjoy them, and there is a rhythm in writing. Whatever you're writing, there is a rhythm in life, and it kind of merges at some point. Because I really believe what the Greeks said, that search for the truth is also search for the beauty. So search ideas are beautiful. So the point is that imagination, ideas, what we call, going very technical, sancharis. You can traverse the world with sancharis. You can do a whole emotional journey with sancharis. That is the beauty, of the art, and that I think spills into your life all over, in all aspect of your life. Doesn't need
Well, I understand it is more
climb
about,
to the stage,
yeah. So what I understand is more about the self-growth or self-enhancing aspect we all are talking about, but how far uh, it is still not that well understood by the society, or doesn't make it as a need. That's what I mean. I don't know. I mean, it can be, uh, it is not that much recognized.
But why, what is the obsession with everybody understanding everything we do? The point is that dance also has a broader, a beautiful dancer, really great dancer, depends on the quality of dance. She can communicate at some level. It may not be precisely understanding the grammar of dance. Yes,
No, of course
maybe you
not.
don't know that, but there is something that comes through when the dance is done with honesty and complete kind of excellence. It's out there. It speaks to people.
Yeah, so those are, maybe sometimes those are just the very few blessed ones who can be excellent dancers. And when we take it more in general, uh, everyone is not blessed sometimes to be such that great artist or the dancers. So when we take more, the people who practice the arts, so sometimes they don't take that as a profession, and they just more take it as a self development or self growth that it can be taken. I think that's what we are making a point. So the last round, I will just go for that is called, we call it as a rapid fire round. I will ask you the question. So just please take, it's a very rapid fire, and just a few minutes and one word for that. First is to Jonathan. Your favorite art form?
I pass.
Oh, you
I
pass.
pass.
Life meaning in one word?
Life meaning?
In one word.
I'm really bad at this.
Jonathan, you can't pass all.
I
Favorite
think
artist?
I'm missing that buzzer that I'm supposed to hit when you ask these things.
I'm just saying this.
No, I'm I confess, I really just don't think this way.
Okay. Your food, favorite food.
You know what? I'm a Gemini. I like so many things. I have, not just two sides of my personality, but many sides of my personality. So one night I'll be eating or preparing Indian food, the next night Thai, the next night Italian. So what can I tell you?
You're all over. Okay. You're just one line message to the people.
Well, if we're talking to the Indian audience, I would say don't underestimate your own culture. Your culture is a standout in the world, and I feel like Indians often underestimate themselves and underplay their strengths. So be strong and go into the world with confidence that what you have is of great value.
Wonderful. Just last one, your favorite city in India.
Mumbai, of course.
Mumbai. Okay, I'm happy. What if not you are an artist?
Maybe a chef.
Wow. So you're a foodie. Okay. Dance as arts or an entertainment?
Both.
Thank you. Did good. Maya ji,
Yes.
describe dance in one word. What does dance means to you?
Life,
Your favorite art form?
dance.
Favorite artist?
That's a hard one. I like different artists for different things. And I
Who
include, I,
inspires-
I include this doesn't confine myself to Indian dancers alone.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, just who comes in your mind? Who inspires you the most?
In life,
The whole thing in your life, who inspires you?
oh, Gandhiji.
Wow. One thing that you will like to change within you and around, one thing around you.
The many things I can think of. I'd like to
Just
change.
today, only one thing that comes most to you want to
I
change.
have a quick temper.
Oh, okay. And around you?
Around me, that too is multiple, but let's just see. Well, for
Okay.
sure, President Trump, I want him gone.
That was, you didn't ask me that. That would have been an easy question.
Okay, I can ask you now. Two questions I can ask you. Life meaning in one word.
Are you asking me?
Yes,
Oh,
of course I'm asking you.
life in one word. The eternal rhythm.
Food. Favorite food?
Food. Food, my goodness. That's also, I like Jonathan. It's a hard one, for me. I like a lot of different foods. Oh, I don't want to waste your time. No, I'll pass it. I really like
Okay, describe dance in one word.
what?
Dance, another word for dance for you.
Oh, I thought I answered that question.
You did. You said life.
Life. Yeah.
Oh, you said life. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes. Jonathan, who inspires you the most? That's my last question.
Well, for the moment, Maya Kulkarni.
Thank you.
No, I mean in your life, not moment. It's not a momentary inspiration.
I guess my mother.
One thing that you will like to change within you and around you.
I would like a little more hair.
You look nice with this.
And around me, same as Maya, we've got to get rid of this horrible president.
Oh. Okay. That is Maya ji, one line message to the people, if you want to say.
Yes, I think to stop worshipping false idols and look at the foundation of the Indian arts, all of them, and you will find the real India there.
Okay, so that ends, and thank you so much for being here. It was a wonderful session. I came to know many things. I'm sure those who will view this session will go back with some more ideas. Thank you very much once again for being here.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Thank you for including me.
Thank you.